Darkness kills, destroys the will. Find a spark, make hearts thrill. Hear the tales of time so grim. Shine a light, don't let it dim. Heather Brown downtown, bound. True crime story she's found. In the shadows, secret stay. Need a light that finds the way.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Defeating the Darkness, True Crime Stories with Downtown Heather Brown. That's me, your host. I'm a former homicide and sexual assault prosecutor, and this evening's episode is going to blow you away. We have an amazing guest, Dr. Leslie Dobson, who's here with us and has graciously accepted my invitation to come on the show and talk about all the amazing things she's doing in forensic psychology. She is a forensic psychologist, clinical and forensic psychologist. She's written books. She's on Instagram. She's on television. And she does amazing things with a lot of high-profile cases. And we're going to break it down and talk about all kinds of amazing things. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
I'm very excited to not also have my headphones on and be on the computer.
Yes. Oh, I forgot to mention, she's a podcast host too, which we'll break that down and talk about that too. So, yeah, I know, right? Like when you're on
This is better.
It is better.
This is better. It's more human.
I like to meet in person. I really do.
Yeah.
That's why I shouldn't say never, but I'll never go to just like audio. I like to be in person with people.
I do too, if the budget allows. Like if we're going to talk about murder and rape, we need to talk eye to eye.
I am with you. That's exactly why, like, these are stories that, like, I like to share with our listeners and everything, but I think it's more personal when you're in person with someone and not under the constraints. Now, it definitely limits your ability to get certain guests, because if they're on the East Coast, they're not, like, flying out here to be on my show. But I'm glad you live local.
I am
Nailed it.
I mean,
Scored.
I purposely moved under the Orange County veil.
So that you can come on here?
Just for you. But also to get the fuck out of Los Angeles. I just needed a break from LA County and the homelessness and the crime and the politics.
I didn't even know you lived in LA County.
Yeah, I was there. I evacuated twice. And I was like, how many more times until my house is gone? Because we're like 3 houses away. They're gone.
Oh, gosh.
No, I was
From the fires?
From the fires. I was right down the street from all the celebrities. I was like the bottom house looking up at all of the rich people.
Mm-hmm. You were the bottom bitch. Actually, the bottom bitch is the top bitch. They're actually the best one.
I mean, I watched them all go for walks. Like Goldie Hawn would meet up with Jane Fonda and they'd walk by my house and like no one would talk to me. They were too good for me.
You're like, you're at the bottom of the hill.
The only one who talked to me was LeBron. LeBron would just be like, hey, and he'd walk by.
All right.
And then I would take his picture and then a black SUV would come up behind me and be like, no.
So you had to move to Orange County.
Yes.
Where everybody wants their picture taken.
Yes.
So, okay, so let's back up. I know that you're a clinical and forensic psychologist, and I always start the episode saying how we met. And I was about to say we did not meet in a bar, but we did meet in a bar because you're sitting here at my bar.
Yeah.
And
with
we
a
just
good
met.
drink.
With a good drink, some bourbon. And I'm drinking tequila for the record. And we're at HB Sidebar. And so welcome to my bar.
I love
Welcome
it.
to the show. We were introduced by one of my prior guests, Rob Priors, who I got to tell you, he surprised me at how...
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the episode because he bores me.
Well... Okay, Rob, don't watch this one.
He knows that. I haven't had him on my podcast yet.
Really? Because he's boring?
Yeah.
Listen,
I want to be like, come on, fucking, you did something. You hid under a car and shot people. Like, talk about...
This is what I'm telling you, Leslie. Listen, you gotta listen to the episode because honest to God, I thought when my husband said, oh, my buddy Rob, he'll come on your podcast. I'd met him just a couple times and I thought, he seemed a little boring, which honestly, a lot of the FBI agents that I come across with my husband, they do seem a little boring. Yeah. But then when you actually like give them some drinks and get them talking.
Yeah.
They're fascinating. And Rob Pryor's blew me away. I had no idea how interesting he was.
He is.
He was
Yeah.
very interesting. He did not bore me.
Yeah.
I don't think he bored our listeners. We got a lot of great responses. So Rob said, hey, I want to introduce you to my friend, Dr. Leslie Dobson. And so here you are. All right. So where were you raised? I got to hear this.
So I was born in Canada, but then we won the National Citizenship Lottery and came to California. And
Like for reals, or are you joking?
no, for reals. Yeah.
Oh.
So I have dual citizenship. So I like to tell everyone that when I sound like I don't understand America as we decline into chaos, it's because I'm Canadian. So, but I have dual citizenship. We came to Orange County. We started a family company. And then we kind of bounced from like Orange County to Florida back and forth to just take over the country. And then I realized I wanted nothing to do with the family company. And psychology was like the most interesting thing in the world to me. I wanted to meet the sickest people in the world.
Okay, that's a little twisted right there, but I got to tell you, I have a psychology degree. That's what I majored in, and it was the only thing that interested me. And I think it's incredibly helpful when you're dealing with people to kind of understand, have a little more just empathy and understanding for people and why they do what they do. But the fact that you wanted to know the sickest, most twisted people is there something in your childhood that drew you to that kind of stuff?
Almost like a lack of, maybe.
Oh, you had like a very...
I was raised by an attorney.
Okay.
Obviously, people
That's
can
where you
probably
get your
tell.
smarts from, arguably.
I threw parties, and he always said, if you're going to throw a party, sign this contract. At least all the friends that come to the party have to do all this cleaning. Like, everyone's going to be accountable for being bad, but go ahead. And I was actually raised quite well, I would say. But I was raised as a white kid with a silver spoon in Orange County. And no one thought I had the capacity to do anything beyond be a housewife. So when I got the chance to pick my first clinical rotation, I drove to the Los Angeles County Jail, and I had already vetted, I'm sorry, Dr. Romero, I already vetted a naive, vulnerable, new psychologist at the jail. And I sought him out, and I said, we're going to start a training rotation there because I want in. I want to see what's happening in Twin Towers. And he was like, no, it's too liable. And I was like, but you could really make a name for yourself. And it worked. And me and 3 other people who I still talk to who are awesome were the first training group in Twin Towers in LA County Jail. And I was hooked. I had pee and poo thrown on me. I have never seen so many flaccid penises lined up in a row. There were riots. I led to one riot. It was completely 100% my fault. It was
What'd you like, take your top off in jail, or what'd you do?
I was completely manipulated by a psychopathic high-ranking gang member. Pyru, completely manipulated. He wanted to change his cell. He wanted to get into a different pod. He was depressed. He had just found out he had HIV. I felt really bad for him. I really wanted to fight for him. Just oddly, when the shifts were changing and the classification officer wasn't there, the guy who knew all the gang members and their tats and who they were. And so I really wanted to fight for an off-shift officer to help him. So the officer did, and he got moved to a different pod. And then that night, the pod he was in previously stabbed a lot of officers.
Oh, no.
So I single-handedly moved him out, and he had this whole plan, hook, line, sinker.
Oh, my gosh.
I even was so manipulated that when we interviewed him post-incident, I asked if we wanted to close the jail cell and stay inside with him for privacy.
What?
Yes.
We... For reals?
Then the sheriffs were like, what? You don't ever close your cell.
Girl,
Close yourself
are you
with
nuts?
this. Yeah. That was my first year. And I was like, oh, I'm in. I'm stuck. Like, this is fascinating what he just did to me. I need to figure out how he did it. And then all of just the schizophrenia and the psychosis and the, murder. And I had a guy come to therapy with brains in his pockets, brain matter. And at the end of the session, I just thought he probably had an orgasm or something during therapy. No, it was brain matter. And when they went back to his cell, they found the body. He had stomped on the head and tried to hide the brain matter in his pocket.
So you were like, oh my God.
And I was like, we had a really good therapy session. We really got really deep. I helped you. I was your alibi.
oh my gosh, that's crazy.
But that was all in 1 year. And I was like,
how
this
old
is
were you at this point?
fascinating. I was probably like 24.
Wow.
I'd
So like a
say.
year ago?
Yeah, according to my plastic surgeon, Shabnan, shout out. No, but no, I had traveled to London for.
I just got back from London 2 nights ago. It's
I
the
know.
greatest city on the planet.
I fucking love it. It's changed a lot, but it's still amazing.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
Nobody told me London
love
was
it.
amazing.
Did you go to Harrods?
I spent every night in
Oh
Harrods.
my God. Okay. Did you get chocolate and pizza?
Oh, I got chocolate. I ate at the little steak place. We went 2 nights in a row to eat there. I bought tea. I bought pretty much everything at Harrods. Don't tell my husband. And yeah, my bestie and
love
I
it.
went. Harrods. We were 2 blocks from Harrods. We stayed 2 blocks from Harrods. And I
Okay.
shopped like a mofo and
Yeah.
drank and ate. And it was amazing.
I loved it. Like I flew back maybe twice a year to see my family, but I was up there for 6 years or something.
What?
Yeah, I would fall in love with a guy. His accent would wear off. I'd realize he was an idiot, and we'd break up.
He wasn't really British. I'm just kind of, no offense, but I'm kind of seeing a pattern here. You may be possibly a little naive. No?
maybe a little psychopathic, but no, I think all in all, it like fits well.
Girl, I need to school you a little bit. But now that you're older, a little bit older, maybe like a year or 2, you have evolved. And
I've
you're
learned
not
a lot.
as
I'm
naive.
super smart now.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank God. Because I'm about to tell you all these amazing things she's doing. Okay. We don't want to lose business for you. Okay. So you're doing all these. Why were you in London again? I'm sorry.
So I did my undergrad, the latter part of my undergrad there. I had to return home because I had I was in a coma. I had a nearly fatal surgery.
What?
I had a cyst on my ovary. They nicked my bowel. I had a colostomy. I was in a coma. I was
oh my
septic.
gosh.
So I had to come back for that because the surgeons in England on socialized healthcare left gauze in me, and it was a hot mess. Very depressing.
Sounds like a hot mess.
Yes. First and
scary.
last time I actually ever thought about suicide. I had a plan. I was like, I'm done. You want me to have surgery from my pubic bone to my belly button 5 times. That's what this all required. I'm just going to kill myself. I was fully ready. Now I can really empathize with people in that position. 100%.
I bet.
But during that, I wasn't really focused on my master's, and I had already gotten into the University of London. Well, I had applied. I was going to go regardless. After I recovered from the surgeries, they rejected me. And I was like, fuck you. So
You're like, now I'm really going to kill myself.
No, I got on a plane and I went straight to the University of London. And I said, I am on a one-way ticket. You can see how I do provisionally for 3 months and then tell me to go home. And they put me in a dorm.
So you
and
forced your way into the University of London.
completely. Like I kind of raped my way into the University of London.
I love
really intrusive.
I mean, not
in a
really.
good way. Yeah. But I stayed and I got my master's there in the most bizarre Freudian psychoanalytic interpretation, dream interpretation. Now we'll just call it like psychoanalytic psychology.
Okay.
And then I came back to.
I had a dream last night that it was the end times.
Oh.
End times came. It was kind of wild.
Oh.
Now that you're just saying the dream thing. Because I woke up and I was like, what was that all about?
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
That's
we
a-
can analyze dreams.
Okay.
They're very symbolic.
We'll do that the next episode, maybe. Okay. Back to you. Okay. So University of London, you get your.
My master's, but then, because the math is kind of different, I had to do another master's in America.
Different.
Different. I don't really understand why.
So you failed math.
So I did another master's at Loma Linda, and then I did the doctorate at Loma Linda, where, I just began like this interest in serious mental illness and murder and felonies and the capacity of the mind to do the worst things ever. I ended up, my internship was at DC doing White House cases. So anyone who tried to, take out the Secret Service or assassinate a president, I got to hang with them and be like, what the fuck were you thinking?
I love that.
And what?
Okay, so break that down. When you're like
Yeah.
interviewing someone, so for our listeners, okay, so, let me back up for a second. You get your degree, you have your doctorate. You're Dr. Leslie Dobson now. I'm guessing it was your maiden name maybe at the time. No?
No, it's still, I didn't take his.
Oh, okay.
He's too Midwest.
Okay. That's for the next episode. Put a little asterisk there, Pete. We'll come back to that. Okay, so you are, you have your doctorate. Now you're like a psychologist.
Kind of. You have to do an internship, paid internship. It's the first time you're paid. I got paid $26,000 for the year. And
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, wow, I'm getting paid.
You are definitely not shopping at Harrods on 26 grand a year, for the record.
And you, at the time, there was an imbalance. There weren't enough internships for students. And so you rank order like what you want. You go out and interview everywhere, tens of thousands of dollars. And then they just one morning at 3 a.m. pop up what you got. And I got St. Elizabeth's Hospital, Washington, D.C.
Okay. Wow. So now you got to come back to the States.
Yeah. Well, so the doctorate was in here
Oh,
in Loma Linda.
Loma Linda, right.
And then I had to go to DC. And then my husband and I were dating, and he got,
Where'd you meet him?
I met him in the doctorate.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is he a psychologist as well?
He is. He runs an inpatient unit on a VA.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, in a VA.
I love veterans.
Yeah. I used to.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you not anymore?
I think I just, the veteran system, the entitlement.
Well, it's super broken. Oh, I don't know about the veterans and the entitlement, but I know the system's kind of broken. A lot
Yeah.
of funding doesn't actually go to the veterans.
It's very broken.
Yeah.
It's very broken. And he's doing really well on the inpatient unit. But when you have to see 9 people or they're billing every 12 minutes and they're just telling you what to do and you start to feel like you're just a body, and then the veterans aren't getting what they need and they get upset.
Yes.
And of course they take it out on you, but you don't have a chance to change the system. So I worked there for a while and it just became a mountain I didn't want to try and move. I wanted to move different ones.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that 100%. I started out as I told you I was a psychology major and I was going to be a alcohol and drug counselor.
Yeah.
And I literally had an epiphany. That's why I became a DA. I was looking around at this. I was running a group counseling session because I had to do 600 hours, right? You got to
Yeah.
get certified. And I was at this group counseling session and I looked around at everyone and I thought, oh my God, if I had you for a mother, I was shooting up heroin too.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the next guy eating a scab off his hand. And
Oh, God.
the next, and I just thought every fucking one of you needs to be locked up and have the keys thrown away.
Yeah.
And I was a waitress at the time, putting myself through school. And I had had a night manager say, you love to argue. You ever thought about being an attorney? And I was like, no. And in that moment, when I had that moment while I was doing this counseling session, I thought, like, this is like no matter what I do, maybe I'll help one of you. Right? Like that's not the hill I want to die on.
Yeah.
I just thought like my talents and, would be much better served if I locked all you people up.
Yeah.
And then I just decided like, you know what? I'm going to become a DA and I'm going to lock all these people up because they were doing horrible things to their own family.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're the only reason they were in counseling or therapy was to satisfy some court-ordered something or other, and I would see the wreckage in their family, and you're stealing, and you're having sex with your own kids, and you're just horrible people who I didn't see the hope in that, and I thought, you know what, I would rather help the people they're victimizing.
Yeah.
And so I respect the hell out of you for having that epiphany and being like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really, like, I took it all the way to working at a Tuscadero State Hospital.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You have to commit a violent felony to be in there and you have to have a serious mental illness. And I think over my time there, 6 years plus, like there was one person I thought could be rehabilitated.
Yeah.
There's 2,000 people in there every day and they're shifting all the time. One person in 6 years?
Yeah, it's sad. It's a sad state of affairs. It is. It can be like, you're just swimming upstream at that point. Like, what am I going to do? You'd rather, I think all of us want to find our purpose in life and like make a real difference.
Yeah.
And so you've obviously found that path somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay,
My life
so-
is so much more fun without the government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine too, for the record. I mean, I say that in cheekily or whatever the phrase is, but I did love being a prosecutor. Do not get me wrong. It was the greatest, 24 years of my life. It really, well, it was great. Law school was pretty fun too. I'm not going to lie, but, it was the greatest career ever, and I'm very thankful and grateful for it. But I am having a lot more fun now just because I don't have the pressure and the stress of the government and all that kind of stuff. And, just the weight of the trials. And so it is different. But going back to you, so you decide nothing from the veterans, you're working at Tascadero. Well, then what do you do?
I got really into sex offenders.
Okay. That's why you're here, because listen, so Rob told me, hey, I got this gal, and he introduced us via text, and you texted me and you said, you might want to check out my social media. I'm kind of, what was the word? Hold on.
Controversial?
Controversial.
Yeah.
And I was like, controversial? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Forgive me. I'm absolutely ignorant when it comes to social media, even though I'm on it. Okay. I'm ignorant when it comes to any other cases. I live in my own little crime bubble. I have my clients who I love and I work really hard for them. I had, when I was a DA, my criminal cases, my sexual assault cases, and I was so focused on them, like I didn't have time to watch television. I don't know. We could be being bombed right now and I wouldn't know. I do live a very ignorant, like little bubble life of my crime. This is my crime and this is all I got so many penguins on my iceberg. I got to kick off the rest of the penguins.
I have to have my finger on the pulse every day
really
to maintain this.
I could imagine.
Like it's
so you're like, you are involved in know about everything that's going on in this society. I am the opposite of that. I don't know. I only know about my little cases. So what were we even talking about? Why did I say that?
But the social media ventures.
Yeah.
Like it's been amazing to
why you're controversial. Go yeah. Tell me about that.
Like I'll do a video of just, my videos are because I'm reading every day, I'm researching every day, I'm working cases. I'm a real psychologist, I'm licensed, I'm a real person. No one, like if you Google my name, the first thing that comes up is Dr. Leslie Married. Like people don't think I'm actually like a real functioning forensic psychologist, but my videos stem from the fact that I'm working cases every day and I have to be up to date with the research in order to win these cases. Like all of my assessment reports are 60, 70 pages and they all come with citations and references. Like I'm going to tell you where I get my views from, right? But then what that leverages is a video. I can put that on social media. And sometimes I'll just do one quick one, like the mind of a pedophile. I had a pedophile who followed a girl and a young, small child, and he tracked her to school. And he had this view of her that was very different than reality. And I did a quick video on that. Within a couple weeks, it was at 21.5 million views on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
Instagram.
Crazy.
So I thought, wow, I think my place in this is that people actually need to see me as the car accident that they can't look away from. So I learned to kind of engage people like, oh, there's a car accident. What is it? So I start with very sensationalized, provocative content, teach them a lesson before they leave the video. And it's been quite successful. So now people are waking up to, yeah, there are predators around us. And that's why I don't return my shopping cart. And that had over 100 million views. They flew me to Tamron Hall in New York to talk about that TikTok.
I don't know what you're talking about. What does that mean?
So I did a 17-second video. I was very annoyed one day. And I said, listen, I'm not going to return my fucking shopping cart if my kids are in the car, if my groceries are in the car, and I don't feel safe. I'm not going to bend to your judgments of my fucking cart over protecting my children.
You mean like leaving it in the parking lot after you've been shopping? I'm
going to leave it in a fucking spot next to me. Oh my God, freak out. The world freaked out. Literally the entire world.
What?
Countries were contacting me.
Are you kidding me?
News outlets.
Oh my God.
Wikipedia pages. Like people, paraplegics, people without legs were like, hey, Dr. Leslie, I'm returning my cart. You could do it too. Like it was an obscene, The Daily Show, every comedian, Jimmy
Are you
Kimmel.
kidding?
Yeah, no.
Are you like this is how ignorant I am to social media stuff?
It was November.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
November
who gives
last
a
year.
shit if honestly, who
Yeah.
gives a shit if you return your shopping cart?
Apparently
millions of people do.
And then I got death threats.
What?
Real fucking death threats.
Are you kidding
And I
me?
would run all these by Rob, everyone in the FBI. They're still working cases. I know who you are, Lauren, in the sticks of Oregon, you fucking idiot.
We're calling you out, Lauren. I don't even know who you are, but I'm calling
Lauren's
you out.
he's a dude too.
Oh, it's a dude?
Yeah.
Name Lauren?
Fat dude, long hair. Tell me you're gonna fuck me up. Wait.
Yeah, well, fuck you up, Lauren.
But the threats were as significant as
Watch,
like
I'll have a death threat tomorrow. I'll be like, oh, shit.
whatever. I'll handle it.
Hey, I got a snipe. No, he's not even a sniper. He's an expert sharpshooter and all the
Yeah.
other ones below it.
Oh my God. I got my conceal and carry in 24 hours after that video went viral. And I have trained with weapons every day since.
I have my CCW because, it's a long story. I won't even bore you with my stuff. But yeah, I have my CCW. My husband was the chief firearms instructor for the FBI.
Perfect.
That's what he does. So if you're thinking, Lauren, about coming to get me because we're talking shit on you, you know what I'm saying? Tom
Lauren,
Brown's,
Loren.
Tom Brown's got you. But more importantly, what was I even saying? Oh yeah, I did an episode with my husband. He let me like taser him and stuff. It hasn't been out yet.
good.
It's fun.
Oh.
I was like, do these things even work? Let's try it.
Oh, let's pepper spray them.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Right? Yeah.
probably-
Let's get one of those dogs that like bite you and see if
I have that. I bought her from Russia.
what a dog or a pepper
Yeah.
spray
Rob's connections.
got you a
People
dog.
don't know.
Or, wait,
Can I just take this moment to say that people don't want to fuck with me?
yeah, like don't fuck with her.
Yeah, like I don't. So I got an order of these FBI dogs, and I just grabbed one for myself. And the bitch knows German. She's amazing. She's an amazing family dog until I speak German. And then she is on guard. She stops breathing. She has her right shoulder next to my left hip. And she is on full work mode.
Wow.
She deserves
so you've
a
had,
raise.
like legit death threat. I know we're joking and laughing, but listen, I've had them too.
Yeah.
And, there was a guy that we were prosecuting that escaped from jail and they found pictures of me and the the prosecutor, Matt Murphy, that I was trying it with.
I love Matt Murphy.
I love Matt Murphy too. He's one of my
I love
besties.
Tara Newell.
I don't know, Tara.
Dirty John.
Oh,
Tara stabbed him in the eyeball.
Yeah, because she thought he was like, she saw it on the.
Yeah, it's like the zombie apocalypse, the final way to die. But Tara's a really cool girl.
I don't know Tara, but Matt's one of my
Matt helped her.
besties. Yes, he did. Okay, yeah. So Matt Murphy's my buddy, but we were prosecuting this guy, Jose Nayeri, and he and two others escaped from Orange County Jail. And they found our pictures in his jail cell. And so the sheriff expedited our CCW pretty darn quick.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is what I want to talk to you about. I know we're joking and we're laughing about it, but the reality is like, I have a family, you have a family.
Yeah.
It's scary shit when you think that somebody's going to come and try and whack you and more importantly, hurt your family.
Yeah.
And like the guy we were prosecuting had like severed a man's penis after he brutally,
How did he do it?
tortured him, tased him, burned him, whipped him, cut his penis off and poured bleach all over his entire body. So it wasn't
Did he
going
use like a box cutter?
He used a knife. I don't even know
Was
the
it
knife.
flaccid when he did it?
Yes, I'm going to guess that any blood flow was not present at that moment. He put a zip tie on it and then cut it off while someone stood on his chest.
Oh, it was like strategic.
There were three of
planned
them. Oh, no. And they chanted back and forth.
So they've done this before.
Well, let me ask you this as a forensic psychologist, which we need to break that down for our listeners first. Before I ask you the follow-up question, don't let me forget about the penis cutter offer.
Okay.
But I want to know, as a forensic psychologist, tell the listeners what that even means, because some people might not know that. Difference between a clinical and a forensic psychologist. I should have asked you that from the jump.
You have to be pretty.
Well, there you have it. That's all you need. If you want to be a forensic psychologist, you just need to be pretty, ladies and gentlemen.
You have to be really okay with Botox and filler, but in small increments, which is why I have bruises today.
Don't be saying that on...
That's okay. That's okay. My lips are tattooed, my eyebrows.
What?
I know.
What do
but
you
it's
actually
subtle.
look like?
So you have to
I'm
be
just
able to
kidding.
make your face so fake that when you're on the stand, no one can tell.
This bitch is crazy, for the record, okay? You're nuts. I think I might be in love with you. Pete, she's crazy. You are crazy.
I told you. I warned you.
Yeah, she did warn me. I was warned. All right. Okay, but you're so nuts. How did you get bamboozled by the inmate?
Well, that was like before I had really understood what forensic psychology
She
was. Like,
naive.
I had to get bamboozled repeatedly.
Are you really a blonde? No offense to the blondes out there.
No, but I'm an Orange County kid. I'm so naive.
See, I'm from the East Coast.
Yes, you know. You see it
Ain't
coming.
none of you pulling nothing by me.
I
No.
still think there's like good in people. And then I have to be like, no.
That's
there's
your
not.
first mistake. That is your first mistake, Dr. Leslie Dobson.
Oh, everybody has the capacity for evil and it's situational when it comes out. Yes, but forensic psychology. So everyone in school thought they were like so cool if they called themselves a forensic psychologist. And it was like they were taking classes on law and psychotic people and them getting arrested and how to navigate the legal system as a psychologist. And that to me was very simple. Like now the definition has significantly changed. So as a forensic psychologist, you can work in criminal law or you can work in civil litigation. And criminally, you can be on the inside with these bad actors, right? You can be treating them, trying to make them better, see if they have insight, stop them from killing again, reduce the recidivism. Or you can be on the outside, interviewing them, looking through their records and assessing their violence risk, especially their sexual violence risk. And that's where we have
those 288 reports.
Oh, yes.
288.1 of
Like,
the Penal Code. It's for our
and
listeners.
lascivious. Yeah.
Yeah, for our listeners, 288.1 reports are the bread and butter of whether or not someone's going to be granted probation, whether they're going to, whether they have they're amenable to treatment or not.
Right.
And so,
And we assess that by testing them.
yes.
So we have a lot of very objective science-based assessments, and we have massive normative samples of hundreds of thousands of people, your age, your type, your gender, your ethnicity, your style of crime. Have you had a partner for a while? All this stuff comes into play, and we use all these tests to determine if they're likely to reoffend. And then we don't really do anything with it. We just hand it over to the lawyer or the judge, right?
Yes.
And then
it's like an
you guys
expert
do a
opinion. So
dance.
a forensic psychologist does testing of, it could be a perpetrator, could be a victim in
Yeah.
civil litigation sense. And you, as a forensic psychologist, do a bunch of psychological tests, meet, interview, gather information, data, and then make a psychological assessment that you provide an expert opinion to the lawyers in the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are
versus
not-
a clinical psychologist, just for the listeners, clinical psychologist, you're treating the actual victims of trauma or someone who needs to see a psychologist, right?
Yes, but at a higher level than a master's degree. So there's a significant amount of training. And I always say that psychology is very focused on the individual. So we're really able to treat an individual through all their mental health conditions, when a social worker is more case management focused, a master's level, marriage and family therapist, they're very focused on different areas of training. But a psychologist is just a very, almost like a narcissistic, autistic profession. It's like we ourselves are important, the client is important, and we're going to focus on what's in the room. And we're going to make you better and figure out ways to make you better. And psychological assessments, psychologists can do that when master's levels can't. So if we can assess objectively where you are clinically, we can treat you better, right? And then we can keep doing assessments and see if you're getting better. Or maybe I suck as a psychologist and I'm not helping you, right?
Right.
We need an objectivity to it.
One thing, I just have to ask you this question, because sometimes people are like, oh my God, that's my therapist. I love him. I've been seeing him for 10 years. I'm like,
No. That's
You're
not good.
still kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie,
Yeah.
my buddy, but like you might want to see a new psychologist. Like, and listen,
Yeah.
I think there's value in people talking to someone and just kind of being like, my husband's driving. Not, I'm saying this hypothetically, of course, but like my husband's driving me crazy. Like you want to vent
Yeah.
to someone who has maybe, an objective opinion about the situation.
Yeah.
I get that. Right. But when you like are troubled and you've been seeing someone for 10 years, don't you think it's time to switch therapists?
100%. And we have ethics around that if you don't feel like your client is making progress, you need to ethically move them on to somebody who can help them, or they need a higher level of care, something. Like my goal is to be with people for not that long, let them internalize being their own therapist, and then come back for booster sessions. Like I know I get paid, but I'm not in it for money from therapy clients.
Okay. So going back to you and what you're doing, you are a forensic psychologist. So you do all these analyses and testing and expert witness reports for lawyers on criminal and civil. And then you also treat patients on a clinical level. So clinical psychologists treat patients, forensic psychologists do reports for lawyers and help testify in court if needed.
And there are some that do both. There are some that won't do both, right? Like there are many clinical psychologists that are terrified of a subpoena. I welcome them. There are many forensic psychologists that will never do therapy. They're so uninterested in therapy. I do both. I think seeing people for therapy at least 10 hours a week keeps me grounded in the reality of life and why I'm helping people and I'm present for them in the moment. And then I just overcharge the lawyers.
And good to know, seeing how you work for our firm sometimes, a lot of times, which we just discovered tonight, and we're going to talk about that too. These certificates of merit. So
I'm just kidding. I don't overcharge. I'm worth every penny.
Yeah, we might need to reevaluate that whole contract. Okay, so we were talking. I know I digressed for a minute, because I wanted to break that down for the listeners about what the difference is.
That's okay. You have a really good producer.
He is good, isn't he? That Pete Campbell. Yeah, Pete Campbell. He's great from Creators Department. He's the best producer ever.
I might have to poach him.
And for the record, in case you haven't listened to any of my episodes, the song in the beginning was produced by his son, Jaden, who's 14. And literally in 2 minutes, I told him the kind of music I like, and he like wrote it and created this amazing song. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, he's a badass.
Okay.
I love Jaden. So I'm just throwing that out there. And Pete's wife, Sarah Campbell, is also amazing. And she works for the law firm that I work for as special counsel, Fight for Survivors, which we just discovered you have testified or done some work.
Yeah.
Maybe not testified, but you've created some
depositions
and done some stuff for our firm before.
Yeah.
I
I've
did not know
repeatedly
that.
chain texted her at very late hours of the night.
Yeah. She's chain texter. I think we need some more alcohol, Pete. Hold on. I'm going to freshen up the drinks. We're going to cut right here for a minute. So wow, that's fascinating. You're a clinical and forensic psychologist. And so I'm assuming the forensic psychologist's work that you do is in criminal and civil. And so criminally, you go and testify about, like, do you testify for the perpetrators, or how does that work?
I like to keep it even. I'm hired on both
Like
sides.
whoever hires you, right?
Yeah. Like this might be hard for people to hear, but one case I have is a guy who they want to make a sexually violent predator.
Oh, I used to prosecute those SVP cases.
So I don't think he is one. I think he's a sex offender. I don't think he's a sexually violent predator. And
How many victims? Let's break this down, girl.
online, no one in person, and no clear evidence that it was all him, because it was kind of like a party when it happened. And as I broke it down more and I looked at the sexually violent probable, reports, I don't remember the codes, 6600. I thought, okay, I have to be ethical. This individual is a horrible person. but I don't think they meet the actual
legal
SVP.
standard. Okay. And that's
Yeah.
what your ethical obligation is
Yeah.
to do, is to opine what you believe. For
Yeah.
sure. For reals.
So I went to the prison and I did the long hallway walk and I met with him for hours and hours and did a ton of testing and, trials coming up. But I will be testifying, I guess, against the state psychologists who want him to be an SVP.
Okay.
And I have to keep it real. I can't just be survivors only. I can't be I can't let that
No, 100%.
be mixed. So, I heard him out and I sat with him for a long, long time. I think he's horrible, but I don't think he meets the criteria to be housed in Coalinga State Hospital the rest of his life.
Yeah. So for our listeners, SVP, it's in the basically, you know how you like 5150 someone, which means like you think that they're a danger to the community. So under the Welfare and Institutions Code, even though there's nothing criminal that you're doing, like we can basically take your possession of your body and keep you in either a mental institution, a psych ward, or like the local hospital if it's just a 48-hour 5150 hold. The same goes through, a lot of people don't realize this, but in sexual assault cases, even after you've served your time on a determinate sentence, let's say, you got 50 years, not a life sentence, but it only applies to, in here in California, to determinate sentences. Once you've served your sentence, if you suffer from a mental illness that causes you to be an ongoing threat to the community, under the Welfare and Institutions Code, the prosecutor can basically file a petition, that you're a sexually violent predator. And it's a statute. You can file that under there and say that, basically allege, and you have a right to a trial on that as to whether or not, even though you've already served your criminal sentence, you suffer from a mental illness that if you are to be released from your sentence, you are basically, the jury gets to decide whether or not, based on that mental illness, you are now an ongoing threat to the community. And that's the decision that the jury has to make. And the way you prove that up is through testimony of forensic psychologists. You also, the prosecutor gets to call witnesses and victims from the previous, all the other offenses.
Yeah.
And those statutes have changed over the years. They've morphed. You used to have more than one victim. Now you just only have to have one victim. So there's a lot of little legal parameters that you have to, comply with in terms of getting that determination. But
a big part of it is that you have to have a mental illness. And if you don't have that mental illness, you wouldn't have caused the crime. So the mental illness in most cases is pedophilia.
Ephebophilia, you're a phebophile.
Some type of
something that's in the
paraphilia.
diagnostic
Paraphilia.
and statistical manual, DSM-5.
Yes, the paraphilia is the umbrella for all the different disorders, right? So in looking at like this particular case, I don't think he met pedophilia.
So you don't believe he's actual pedophile?
No, because it didn't add up. It didn't meet the timeline. It wasn't a focus on prepubescent children. He didn't meet the criteria. So then we go to the next step. Okay, the crime was definitely a sexual offense, 100%. To go to the next step, did his mental illness impact the crime? No. He doesn't meet the criteria for a sexually violent predator. And
what do you
as
think
much
caused
as I-
him to do the acts? What, if not a mental illness? Because if you're doing that to children, I'm sorry, but you got a fucking mental illness.
Well, but you have to think about, what are you doing to children? Are you passing around images? Are you actually engaging with a child? Are the images on your phone? Are they on someone else's phone? Is someone using your phone? So as I dug more into the evidence, I realized he wasn't the key player. And when you're not paid by the hour and you're a government employee, you don't put as much effort into digging. You may actually just, you see enough and you make your report. You want to lock the guy up. And in no way am I comfortable defending a sexual offender. And I'm not. He's a sexual offender, ankle monitor for life. But I don't think he needs the the level of an inpatient facility, a civil commitment
Yeah.
for $300,000 a year for this one person for the rest of his fucking life.
Well, within just for the record, in the SVP, even if they're deemed to be a sexually violent predator, they don't stay for life. They stay until the Coalinga State Hospital or Atascadero determines that they're no longer.
Yeah.
So it's not for life necessarily.
Coalinga is creepy.
No, I've never been there.
You enter there, so they're all sexually violent predators, right? You enter there and they line up and they applaud you.
Ugh.
It is the creepiest situation. And they're not inmates, right? They're patients. They're civilly committed. They have computers. They have laptops. They doxed me on the internet. They have access to everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah. You don't use the stairs.
so many
that's where
things
they fuck.
I could
you
talk
use
to
the
you about.
elevators.
You know what pisses me off is that we have people, you know how Gavin Newsom dismantled death row? And I'm sure people have varying opinions about the death penalty, but
And Gavin Newsom.
yeah.
But whatever, his recent social media accounts are on fire.
Yeah, whatever. I try to stay away from political things, but I'm all for the death penalty.
I am too.
And
When Idaho entered the firing squad, I was like, cool, another option.
right? Yeah, because then they can't argue that the drugs that they're using for the euthanasia are expired.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest thing in California as to why we're not administering the death penalty anymore is because at one point, and then it was like, that's inhumane to use expired drugs. And the anesthesiologist didn't want to put him to sleep. So it wasn't, anyway, that's a whole nother episode.
Can I tell you like a weird thought though is people who have opinions on the death penalty have not been in the warehouses where we put the individuals that would warrant the death penalty. And when literally my office was a converted cell. I came out of my office, to my left was a cell, to my right was a cell, in front of me was the fucking showers. I know these people. There are individuals who do not need to live. Nothing is going to change them. I don't want to pay to house them. They need to die. And you won't hear a lot of psychologists saying that.
I think I want to marry you. Tom Brown, you're out. Leslie Dobson's
Thruple
in, baby.
enters the picture.
No, for reals.
But I really, like,
And I feel that way most strongly about pedophiles, honestly.
yes, and I'm not a religious person. I was raised very atheist. I married
I'm sorry to hear that. The engagement's off.
Just wait, I'm not done.
Okay.
I married a Seventh-day Adventist. He's very Christian. I went to a Christian university and I learned not to believe, but not to judge. And I just live in a state of confusion, right?
Okay. Most people do.
But I don't take the word evil really into anything. I want to quantify horrific behaviors that should not exist on this planet anymore. Because I think when we call it evil, we offer it like it's no longer objective. But if I can tell you that the person has no insight, they have no growth, they have a violence risk that is unrelenting, and they want to continue to kill and murder, and it's the only satisfaction they get because of a smaller amygdala, I don't think they should live anymore.
Yeah, because they're just an ongoing threat to the community.
Yes.
Do you think that locking them up, though, just aside from killing them, do you think that just like keeping them in a cage so they can't do that to anyone else is just as effective as killing them?
But what's the point? The argument is the killer. We as a society, or the people who actually have to kill or make the decisions, they're the ones struggling with that. He shouldn't be alive. That's pretty clear. Everything else is political.
Interesting.
And our own personal battles. But I can tell you 100%, I've known so many people who I would never want to be alive in my presence.
So for me, I love the Lord. I love Jesus. He's everything to me. Okay. And it's weird because as much as I believe in the death penalty, which I do believe in forgiveness. I do believe in redemption. I do believe that everyone's life has value. I do believe that. I do believe that God created all of us and he wants, but I also believe in the dark forces of the world. I've seen it every day for my entire career. And I do, but I, at the same time, like within that framework, when I say I believe in the death penalty, I know that realistically we're not putting anyone to death. So for me, when someone gets the death penalty, I really like whether I think putting them to death is too easy. I think I'd rather have you suffer and go to sleep every night. I don't want you separated in administrative segregation or, in protective custody. I want you in the general population. And this is where I have to seek forgiveness because I'm evil. Not evil,
But they don't suffer.
I want them to worry like their victims worried.
But they don't
And that's
worry.
that's a terrible quality in me, but I think I want you to go to bed every night and wonder, am I going to get sexually assaulted like my victim did? And I want them to, I do. I want a little bit of revenge, and that's a twisted part of me, but I also want them to know that 12 people believe you deserve to die for what you did. Like when you chop off, decapitate little children, to me, it's like, you deserve to die for what you did. And so I don't have a problem saying that. I don't have a problem standing up for that. And I don't have a problem arguing for the death penalty on cases where it's warranted and where the law allows for it and affords for it.
But the flaw in your logic is that you think they feel and they don't. It would be fun to be raped if you are a rapist and bored in prison. Why is sadism, harming others for joy, any different than masochism, harming yourself?
Or having people inflict pain on you.
Right.
And getting pleasure from it.
So we put them in these systems and we let it play out. They will never experience the damage that they have done to victims who actually have normal functioning brains and feel.
Yeah. No, listen, that's why I went from wanting to help all those people to like, fuck it, let's lock all these houses up. Yeah. No, that's why I went from that position. It is, because once you get a dose of it and you see it on a regular basis and you're actually in the thick of it.
And I mean, we can give it some context. I mean, I don't know how graphic we want to be, but once you've seen what we've seen, you realize that they are not humans doing this to humans. They are monsters.
Yes. And so what I do love about what you're saying is that in like the example that you gave where this particular person, you really did a deep dive into it.
Yeah.
I love the fact that like, and I felt that way as a prosecutor too, where I'm open to the idea that there are good people that make poor decisions and do stupid shit and do evil shit. And maybe like, I think the punishment has to fit the crime. I do. And I think that we can't be so like everybody who does this deserves the death penalty. And I think that you have to have some context. You have to have some life experience, and you have to have some like really insight and knowledge and understanding and make an informed decision about like, okay, yes, this guy did some terrible things to children. He's horrible. But I do think in this situation, he doesn't deserve to be in a mental institution for the rest of his life. So my hat goes off to you for, you can be extreme in your views and still be reasonable in your analysis.
Yeah, in your profession.
And that's what's important.
It's
and that's
not
probably
emotional.
No. And that's probably why you're so valuable to attorneys in the litigation sense, which is a great thing. Okay, so you're doing all this. In the next episode, we're going to deep dive into a lot of cases that you've worked on, because I think that's fascinating. But just before we close up on this episode, so you do the forensic analysis, you do the clinical evaluations and help patients in person. And then you also have a podcast. What's the name of your podcast?
Intentionally disturbing.
Okay. And you, Of course it is.
Surprise, surprise.
Yes. Intentionally Disturbing Podcast. Did you hear that? You should listen to her podcast after you listen to mine. I'm just kidding. You can listen to hers first. And then when you need something else and she hasn't dropped any new content, you can come listen to mine, Defeating the Darkness. So your podcast, you have like various people on there and talk about like crazy stuff, right? Crazy cases in the news. That's kind of what I'm getting is like your thing is like relevant, newsworthy cases. You're an expert witness. You go and testify on these big high profile cases, right?
Yeah. I wanted to platform people who deserve to be platformed. There are so many people who have these massive platforms who I think are pieces of shit. The dog's barking. Who I think are
They were like,
pieces of
yes,
shit.
pieces of shit. That's what those, he's like, yeah, I'm with you, girl. That's what those dogs are saying right now.
I wanted to platform survivors who could tell the story
Amen.
without fucking editing it. Yeah, you're anally raped as a child. This is what it does to you. This is the rippage. Like, let's be fucking real about what happens. But I also wanted to platform like doctors and attorneys and people who just have done incredible things. Incredibly interesting people in all aspects of life.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
you
That's
never
what I
know.
do. That's why you're here.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get. So like, I don't know, maybe in like year 6, you'll figure me out. But I just seek out cool people.
Yes. Cool people. I love that. And there's so many things that like the average, like our listeners, they want to hear about, because when I go to parties, people's like, oh my God, tell me, what are you working on? I tell them, they're like, oh my God, that's horrible. But tell me another story.
Yeah.
Sometimes people want to hear about the train
Do you
wreck
have like a playlist of like, these stories are for this kind of
Yes.
person, these stories are for this one?
Yes.
Like sometimes I like
Misread
fuck up
it.
my playlist.
Me too. Okay, I went to my son's football game, and it was like the lead pastor from our church
Oh,
was
God.
there because her son's on the football team. She was
Catholic
darling.
priest rapist. Let's talk about those cases.
Yeah, I did not mention the Catholic priest rapist, but I did start telling her some really horrible things, like about some serial killer or rape these, murder these prostitutes. And
Yeah, whatever, like
you could
those
just see her
people.
face, like.
Oh, the
And then
ignorance
I-
is just broken.
No, she was darling. She took it well. And afterwards, I came home and I told my husband, I go, I'm pretty sure Pastor Stacy's going to be like, our son's never to be around her son again. But I hope that's not the case. But yeah, so I get what you're saying. Like sometimes the audience is like, you're like, oh my God, that's horrible.
And that's kind of the problem with the podcast is that you don't really know who's going to listen. And the reviews are just all over the map.
How do you handle that as a podcaster? Because I'm assuming your podcast is ridiculously. I'm not striving to have some huge, crazy, megala podcast. But I mean, if that happened, I'd be happy. But in terms of your podcast, like when it blows up like that, right? When you want to spread a message, my message is a message of hope that in the darkness that you can always find light. And if you can't find the light, be the light. Like I love people that bring light to the darkest places for other people. Like you, when you have a trauma survivor and you're, or you're testifying in a case where your testimony is the make or break for whether this guy's going to get convicted. I love that. I love the people that are in the midst of the darkest places.
Yeah.
And I love to highlight not just like what happened, but like, how's that affect you as a human being? And going back to what you were
I'm
saying,
untouchable.
like you're getting death threats, right? And you've had to get like a vicious dog that speaks German to protect you and your CCW and
She's really sweet.
and you have
to me.
and you have a family, like, there's a lot of personal element to that too. And then like, so my first question to you is, how do you handle the negative? I'm assuming that there's a lot of negativity that comes with.
Incredibly.
Yeah. Like I'm not getting death threats from like the Kevins. I have my buddies who are my little groupies.
Yeah.
And my friends that come to watch me in trial that I met in a bar, and they're amazing. And they came to watch one case of mine, the one case they finally watched. And the defendant, who was a sexual predator, who was having sex with his girlfriend's daughter. He got convicted, guilty, guilty, guilty. And when they read the verdicts, he pulled out a razor blade and he slashed his throat in open court. It was the greatest day of my life.
He had a razor blade?
He did. He keistered it in. They found out. He
In his mouth?
No, in his rump.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because you can build like a little scar tissue hole in your inner cheek.
He wasn't that sophisticated. He stuck it up his ass and he snuck into the courthouse. And then when he got I don't know
Did
how
he die?
No. He lived, and then he got life in prison. Yay. Woo, woo, woo. Winner, chicken dinner. But anyway, my friends were like, what? So then they became
Does he want to be on my podcast?
He's in prison.
Still. Suge Knight has a podcast.
You should. Is he in prison?
Yeah, with the Menendez brothers.
What did Suge Knight do? Who killed? Did he kill?
I don't even know. Hey, bad podcasting.
Oh my God. See, I don't know I'm really ignorant about all these people. We got to talk about all these people. But okay, before we close out, so we were talking about your podcast. How do you handle A, the horrible things you see, and then B, like death threats and the things that come along with the social media stuff?
I mean, on a serious note, like, and it's like a serious, unserious kind of like this youth meme culture going on. I got a death threat put under my office door, and it was handwritten, and it said, I want you to die. I'm going to put a bullet in your head and your kid's head. And I'm delivering this by hand because I don't want to boost your algorithm. What? I'm sorry, what? Like, so in a way, it was like, okay, well, thank you for your DNA and your fingerprints, fucking Lauren.
Lauren.
But thank you for FBI engagement in this, rock stars, FYI. And video camera of you walking down the hallway, you idiot. But anyways, you don't want to boost my algorithm. So you're following me on social media. So you've given away so much. So now, it's not a cold threat anymore. It's not a threat I'm not aware of. It's a hot threat. And a hot threat I can handle. A hot threat gives me evidence. It gives me an idea of what you're thinking. It gives me data to defend myself. It's the cold threats that scare me.
Yeah, the people you don't know that aren't stupid enough to fucking send a note under your door.
Yes. And show their faces to my CCTV footage.
Wow. Gosh, I'm sorry that you have to. Okay, so
yeah, so that was scary, but also it was a showing. It was telling.
Yeah,
right? But I mean,
did it make you second guess, or did it embolden you to say fuck off? I'm gonna keep on doing what I'm doing.
I mean, everything emboldened me to say fuck off. Really, I'm just gonna protect myself more. Okay. And I have people.
So you got the dog, you got the gun, you got the security.
I have bodyguards at times. Wow. Like,
if you need someone, Tom Brown's really good. He's like,
okay, he's on it.
Expert.
Yeah. Better than anyone like who stopped Trump from getting shrapnel in his ear and Charlie Kirk from dying.
I know. We need to talk about Charlie Kirk.
We need to talk about Tyler Robinson.
Okay. Tyler Robinson. Let's just figure out what we're going to talk about on the next episode, because we're out of time for this episode, but we're moving on to the next one. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear all these stories.
We need to talk about these fucking young men being manipulated by the dark web and being turned into these nihilistic, ideological, crazy individuals thinking that murder is funny, posting memes about it, and not realizing that they're going to go to prison for the rest of their lives.
Amen. I don't think they care, though.
Well, I think that's my question. Is psychosis...
They care until they're getting it from, like, Bubba in the cell, right? And then they're like, maybe I shouldn't have whacked that guy. I'm hoping.
If they don't care, then they don't understand. And why don't they understand? Why aren't we doing that for our kids? Why don't they understand?
Yeah. Well, and I have to analogize a little bit to what happened to Charlie Kirk. Is like, I saw this meme that it said like, oh, all these people on the internet are whining about losing their jobs for something they said. It's like, imagine losing your life for it. Which is what...
In the most fucking graphic video.
Yeah, which is exactly what happened to Charlie Kirk. It's despicable. It's disgusting. It's an affront to everything that humanity calls for. And that's like you. Like, you're speaking on social media and you're giving your opinion, and you certainly don't deserve to die for that. Like, even if someone doesn't agree with your opinion, we are all entitled to our opinion.
But that's what I do is I review cases of these mass shooters. I review assassinations. I review the individuals who did it, and I talk to them, and I try and understand why they did it. And it's not what anyone thinks.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Well, I can't wait to hear it. Well, let's on the next episode give a deep dive into Charlie Kirk. Who was the guy you said?
Tyler Robinson was the killer.
Oh, Tyler Robinson. Let's not even call him a name.
Okay, let's give him a name.
A-hole. And the a-hole who did it.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to talk about Charlie Kirk, the a-hole who murdered him.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of the cases that you're working on now and the ones that you have worked on in the next episode. That sounds fascinating. I can't wait to hear it. All right. Well, we're out of time. So I just got to applaud you for all the work that you're doing and for being so bold and fearless in your...
I got a mosquito bite.
Did you get eaten?
It was a big one.
There's mosquitoes out here. I'm not going to lie.
Today-
It's the risk that we have to take, Leslie. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're like, oh, bitch, I got a mosquito bite. Get over it. Man up. You've had death threats. You can't take a mosquito
Is this a
bite.
paid podcast?
What? No. I got you a candle, bitch. What do you want? And some bourbon.
Whistle pig.
I got you whistle pig.
Hey, boys and girls, you know that's expensive.
Yes, exactly. I didn't even give her the cheap stuff. Come on. All right, you got to come back and tell us some good stuff on the next one, okay? All right, we're out of time. That's a wrap. Yeah, if you can't find the light, be the light like Dr. Leslie Dobson, shining a light on the evil perpetrators and the good ones if she finds them in the midst of the darkness. They're few and far between, but she's going to find them if they're there. And yeah, God bless you all, and we'll see you next time on Defeating the Darkness. Until we meet again. So long now.
Be the light, shine so bright.